Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first Screencastify for your culminating activity. We are going to be doing this culminating activity in steps, and you'll have a Screencastify for each step of the way. So I don't want you to be worried about it. We are going to be doing our hot air balloon launch, which is basically going to be the final for your final grade, and everything we do in these slides is going to lead us to that final experiment, which is going to be launching the hot air balloons. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to go through slides. Actually, it's going to be slides 3 through 6. Sorry. I will go ahead and change that on your slides as well. Actually, let me go ahead and do that. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so this is going to be a Screencastify for slides 3 through 6. What I'll do is I will read through the slides. I will help you with answering the questions, and then it's going to be your responsibility to go back and fill in the answers to each slide. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So we're going to do a review on some things that we've been learning about throughout this quarter. So you're going to see some repeat of a lot of the terms and a lot of the skills that we've already worked on. So the first thing we're going to talk about is molecules. Okay, so we've talked about molecules before. So remember, everything in the world is made up of very tiny particles called molecules. Okay, listen. They are made up of clumps of even smaller pieces called atoms. And we didn't really get into atoms before. Okay, that's something we can do later on. So there's millions of molecules, like millions and millions of molecules can actually fit on the tip of the top of a pencil. Okay, so that's how tiny they are. Okay, like millions of them can fit there. So we have solids, which are things like people and toys. They're made out of molecules and they're solids. Okay, we talked about what solids are. Liquids like water, made up of molecules. And then, of course, gases like air are also made up of molecules. So let's go to the next slide. All right, so this is where you're going to be putting in the answers to your questions, and you'll have to go back and look at the reading and, of course, watch this Screencastify as well, and it will help you answer the questions, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to put your cursor in here, and this is where you're going to answer your questions. Your questions are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your word bank is right here. So these words will fit into the answers here. So everything in the world are made from, well, we know they're made from molecules. They are made from very tiny particles called, well, the next one is atoms. Everything is made from molecules. Okay. Blank things like toys, so that would be solid. Blank things like water, so that would be liquid. And then blank things like air, that would be gas. Okay, so that's what you would do there. Right, so I'll kind of give you an example. Whoops. Okay, so let's go ahead on to the next slide. Now remember, what's cool about the Screencastify is you can stop and pause and do all that kind of stuff. All right, states of matter. Molecules are arranged differently in solids, liquids, and gases. Molecules inside solid materials are crowded together. Many molecules fit into a small area. Materials with many molecules in a small area have high densities. Molecules in liquids have more space around them. When compared to solids, there are fewer molecules in the same area. Gas molecules have even more space around them. There are even fewer molecules in the same area, so gases have low densities. And we'll talk about what density is in a few minutes. All right. So you have solids, which are all the molecules are kind of crowded together in one big tight space, and there's a whole bunch of them all tight together. And then you have your liquids, which are not quite as many molecules in one place, maybe even a little bit spread out. And then your gases, which have very few molecules, and they're really super spread out, and so it makes them a lot lighter. Okay. So in this slide, you're going to answer the questions. Now I'm not going to do every slide for you. So I did the first slide for you as a demonstration. But I will go ahead and I will read the questions, and then you'll have to answer, you'll have to put in the answers to your questions on your slides, okay? So molecules inside a solid are what? A blank, and you have low, high, small, space, or fewer. It does say note, same words are used several times. Okay, so you're going to have to use some of the same words more than once. Just make sure that you remember to do that. And remember, you can go back to the passage. Okay? Molecules inside a solid are blank together. Okay? And will fit into a blank area. There are a lot of molecules in a solid, so a solid has a blank density. Molecules inside a liquid have blank between them, so there are blank molecules in the same area. Molecules inside gases have a lot of blank around them. There are blank molecules in the same area, and gases have blank densities. So we have words such as low, high, small, space, and fewer. So those are your choices. And remember, you're going to use the same words several times. All right. So that is the slides. This is the Screencastify for these two slides. When you complete it, then you can go on to the next slides and complete those as well. All right. Good luck on your culminating activity. Can't wait to the final, to the end, where we actually get to see how all of this works.